This is Garrett Smith on the problem of social media censorship. It has been a problem for me personally and for a lot of other people who are trying to engage on social media and find themselves getting suspended, restricted, banned, and things like that. The problem arises from the organization, the company, first making an assessment of the content that the user has posted, then second determining, and this usually the same person will make the determination of whether that content was suspected of, and then whether it did in fact violate the rules, and then finally that same person will often make the determination for what the sentence or action should be taken upon that user. So they play judge, jury, and executioner. There's generally no trial process or hearing process. Most of the time you don't know exactly what was the problem with the content that you posted. In cases where there are some sort of redress, it's generally a black box. So you're accused of something, your account is suspended, you can put an appeal, such as with Twitter, and then you can wait for a week and see what they have to say on it. But since they've already taken action on your account, you're already guilty, and it's up to you to try to assert your innocence, which is really an impossible thing to do. If I tell you that you're guilty of murder and you haven't killed anyone, you haven't committed anyone, you can say, Garrett, this is crazy. What are you talking about? That is not true. Well, you haven't proven that it's not true because I'm asking you to prove a negative. I'm asking you to do the impossible. That's the situation with these social media. They don't lay it out exactly what you've done wrong, how you violated the rules. In many cases, the rules are very loosey-goosey, and interpretation of what violates a rule and what doesn't constitute a rule violation is a little subjective. Now, there's cases where you can say, well, that's definitely hate speech. They're using a lot of racial slurs and making death threats and things like that. Well, okay, that's obviously a problem. But then there's going to be some areas where, no, that's probably not. Oh, it is? Oh, how so? Oh, well, I guess if you look at it that way, it could be. Situations where it's not as clear. These are the problems. The other problem is the support. The support from a lot of people say, well, we need to support restrictions on speech. You can't say whatever you want to. And there's a lot of ignorance about free speech. There is ignorance that private companies can't censor because they're not the government. That's not true. Private companies definitely can restrict free speech, and any restriction of free speech is censorship, by definition of censorship. The First Amendment does not define free speech, which is another thing that a lot of people don't seem to get. We're talking about free speech. That's a concept in and of itself that has to do with what these companies are restricting. And when we get cases like social media sites that have their kind of arbitrary list of rules, and you're not sure if you violated one, but they're saying that you did and you can't quite see it, there's no way to really address that issue. It's been particularly frustrating for me, having been banned from Twitter, from Reddit, from Hello Talk. That was a big loss there, because when you're banned, you don't get to come back and tell everybody, hey, everybody, guess what? I've been banned. Come try to defend me against these, the people who have banned me, against this organization that's banned me. Try to raise this issue and make some deal about it. You can't even contact them anymore. If your only means of contacting those individuals was through the platform itself, you've lost contact with those individuals. That's a big deal. On Hello Talk alone, I had 400 contacts, and I had 200 and something language partners that I had actively chatted with. So, no, those were followers, 200 and something followers, and then 400 contacts that I'd actively chatted with, which was hugely beneficial to me in learning Japanese. The problem, though, is that somebody complains, and then somebody complains, and then the administrators say, well, we've gotten a few complaints. It's better to take something seriously and do something about this Garrett Smith here, who's causing a problem, because people are complaining about it, so obviously there's a problem there. doesn't sound too unreasonable, but in many cases it can be. In the case of Hello Talk, the last thing that I posted there that got me permanently suspended was there had been spam that had been coming up that I had reported again and again and again and again. I kept reporting the spam. Stop, the spam keeps coming up. I'm going to report this spam if it keeps coming up. You got to do something about the spam. I keep reporting it. So I put a comment on there. And a lot of people would put comments on there. They would engage with the spam, encouraging the spammers who would constantly make new accounts to keep doing what they're doing because it's working. They're getting commenters. They're getting some interaction. The comment that I put was something of, how do I block these messages? How do I block them? I don't want to see this anymore. No profanity, no racial anything. How do I block the comment? That got me permanently suspended from Hello Talk. Now I'm not allowed to do language exchange with anyone there on the platform. And there are so many other cases. In Reddit, well, actually, let's talk about Twitter. What Twitter will do, there's another trick that these social media companies will do, is they will selectively enforce their kind of gray area rules. So if somebody says, hey, you are an awful person, you need to be shot, and the person who is being told that they need to be shot says, well, oh yeah, well, I think you should be shot. Why shouldn't you be shot? Why should it be me? What Twitter will do, they did to me, is they looked at both of those tweets and they say, yeah, Garrett, the person telling you that you need to be shot, in fact, it was my case, was hanged, told me that I need to be hanged. That's okay. Okay, no problem there. But you said that to that person, you're going to be suspended. And the other user was not suspended. So even in asking in retort, why shouldn't you be the one to be hanged? Even asking in retort, which is exactly what I did, resulted in a ban. This shows that, they're not fair. They do it arbitrarily, and they create a situation where if you don't fall in the mainstream ideology, you get enough people reporting you for being an idea interloper and looking at things in a different way, or posting ideas that are too controversial for their little tiny brains. They can't handle it. What do? They say, well, we've gotten all these reports. We better try to take action. We're going to do something. We're going to use some fuzzy logic to interpret our rules however we would like to interpret them, and we're going to ban the account. Now, I'm permanently banned from Reddit. I am not allowed to register an account on Reddit. I am told that I'm banned permanently. I cannot subvert this ban by creating a new account. I'm permanently banned from Twitter. I am not allowed to create a new account on Twitter. Permanently, for life. I am no longer allowed to have an account on Twitter or Reddit or Hello Talk. These are lifetime bans. Lifetime ban on language learning through Hello Talk. Why? Because I dared suggest that a post that was spam should be eligible for blocking by me. I should be able to block these spam posts. Not just the user who keeps getting new usernames, but these posts in general are a little too much for me, and I'm getting so many of them that I want to be able to block them. I should be able to say that, right? Well, not according to them. I should be permanently banned forever from their platform, and I am. I haven't been able to use their platform for years, and as a result, my language skill has gone downhill. This is vastly unfair to a lot of people. Can they do it and get away with it? Obviously they can, and they are. I don't think it's a good situation. I don't know what to do about it. That's it.